talking your addicted loved one into going to individual counseling or even couples counseling can seriously blow up in your face. So you definitely want to listen to this video before you make that happen. Now, I know your whole life's mission is to get your loved one out of denial and get them to agree to get help. And you want them to go to a counselor. And maybe you can't talk them into going to an individual counselor, but maybe you're trying to talk them at least into going to couples counseling. Let me explain to you why that might be a terrible, terrible idea. Let's start with why couples counseling is probably a terrible idea. Okay, sometimes you can get people with substance abuse problems to go to couples counseling easier than you can get them to go to individual therapy. The reason is because they definitely see there's a couples issue, right? They say, oh yeah, there's a problem here, a family relational problem. It's you that's the problem. So when they go into couples counseling, they're going to be going in expecting and wanting the counselor to see their point of view and to tell you that you're controlling, nagging, negative, codependent, all the things, right? You're going to be going in thinking, okay, they're going to see that this person's alcoholic or they're an addict, and they're going to tell them that. So both of you are going to be going into that situation pretty much trying to convince the counselor, like they're a mediator almost, to like take your side. And you think because they're a counselor, they're going to have like these special counselor communication skills, and they're just going to be able to convince that other person how they're really wrong and they need to change their ways. Well, guess what's going to happen? Nothing good. Because if you go into that counseling session and you lay it out on the line like what's really been happening, like you pour it all out there and you tell them everything's been happening, your loved one is never going to go back because they're going to be embarrassed and humiliated, and they're going to be angry with you. If you go in there though and you soft pedal it and you kind of like hint around at it and you tell half the story, the counselor's probably not going to really pick up exactly what you're meaning, and they might sort of miss the boat. But even in the best case scenario, even when they like totally get you and they feel in your vibe and they're like, oh yeah, this person's alcoholic, if they come out and say that in a couples counseling session when you're in the room, if they say like, you're hurting your wife, let's say they do take up for you, let's say they see it, again, you're going to alienate your loved one. They're probably going to hate that, and then they're just going to stop going. Now, there are scenarios where your spouse might really want to keep going, and that is if they feel like the counselor has got their back and sees their point of view. And sometimes that does happen. And when it happens, the counselor can be inadvertently validating a bad narrative. I just think couples counseling, unless the addicted person has insight into the issue, is trying to work on it, and is going to couples counseling to repair the relationship related to the substance use, it's a lot more likely to blow up on you than to be helpful. Now, individual counseling is similar, but maybe even worse, because if you're convincing your loved one to go to individual counseling, it probably means that they don't really want to go. They don't really have enough insight to tell the story accurately. And if they're addicted, I can pretty much 100% promise you they're not going to present the story as it is. They're going to tell the story with a lot of pieces left out, because it's just their narrative, and some of it is conscious. But they're going to tell the story in such a way that's going to cause the individual counselor to validate their narrative, to empower them to put their foot down, to draw the line, to have more boundaries with you because you're being crazy and you're crossing all the boundaries, which you probably are, but we know why you're doing it. We talked about that in other videos. So now all of a sudden, your loved one, they are going to individual counseling. They're telling sort of a half story. They're getting this not great narrative validated, and they're going to be feeling more and more and more against you. And that is the absolute opposite of why you've been wanting them to go to therapy. You see, when someone goes to therapy, of course it can be helpful, but it's going to help them with whatever it is they want help with. That's kind of your job as a counselor. Your job is to help the person with what they want help with. And if what they want help with is setting boundaries with their controlling, crazy, codependent wife or husband or whatever it is, that's what the counselor's going to help them with. I don't want to be super negative here by saying never go to individual counseling or never go to couples counseling, because those things can be really great. I just think that you need to set the stage properly first. You need to wait for the right moment where there's at least some level of insight and willingness there. And then when you put those resources in place, it can be really magical and helpful. But timing is everything. Have you ever had one of these situations blow up in your face or backfire on you? If so, let me know in the comments below so I'll know I'm not just crazy making stuff up over here. And up next, I want you to watch this video. It'll help you move your person towards being more insightful and maybe ready to take some of those steps.